Hello and welcome to today's episode of What Can I Screw Up? Today I'm replacing an IWE on an F150 2015 model. First step, of course, I'm going to get the wheel off. What I just did was lubricate the shaft on the upper bell housing, or the upper control arm retaining nut for the ball joint, as well as the outer tie rod nut. Got a screwdriver and a hammer. I'm working my way around, and it's going to pop this little cap off of here. Be careful, you might bend the cap up. I'm going to take this 8mm bolt off of here and this 10mm bolt off of here to allow movement in the wheel speed sensor harness and the brake hose harness here, or brake hose, because I'm going to be tilting this forward. I'm going to preemptively just go ahead and pull the vacuum lines off of the integrated wheel end. Here's a better view. Right here. Done. Gave it a nice firm whack right here, and this came right out. See what that allows us to do here. There's some more movement. Okay. And keep that on a few threads for now. I'm going to take the two caliper bracket bolts off right here and on the bottom. That's the two bolts that are holding the caliper bracket to the knuckle. One. And the caliper is going to fall down. Caliper bracket bolts. I placed a hook for brake caliper hanging into the bracket here and put it onto the little slot right up here on the upper control arm. Now I'm going to slide this rotary off of here. Sit it down. There you go. Good job. 15. Take note of the depth on how far out this shaft is coming. See how that little mushroomed end of it is right at the end there? You need to make sure the axle pokes out this much when you go back together. You should not have to air hammer that little shaft there. It should slide out right on its own. Something like that. Next, I'm going to go ahead and loosen the three mounting bolts for the IWE. One right here, one right there, and one on the other side. Alright, so in theory now, with all the bolts removed, yeah, it'll pop right out there. It's just interfering on the axle. Point the axle back through the hub, and then you'll be able to break it loose and work it out around the shaft. Inspect for worn teeth on your hub here. This one does not have it. It'll be obvious. Teeth will look scored and mushroomed. Inspect and clean the sealing surface for the IWE on the axle. I don't feel any burrs or scores that are going to prevent it from sealing. Alright, there's the part number for a 2015 F150. Slid it in, I slid it in around the axle, and with these pointing at about this direction here, get the bolt holes close and get your vacuum line and hook it up. Okay, so I got the IWE lined up in there. I do not have it tightened down yet, but I did get the axle shaft through and got this started so it doesn't fall down. Next, you're going to want to pull a vacuum on the IWE before you do your final torque on it. Come up here next to the brake reservoir. Here's your IWE check valve. Take this upper line off, and you're going to want to pull a vacuum right here. but I always recommend replacing the check valve as they are issue prone. Okay, I did tell you wrong. The hose that connects to here is actually the hose that goes down to the IWE, so that's what I pulled a vacuum on. And I am holding some vacuum on here. So now you can go down and get the bolts tight on the IWE vacuum hub that holds it to the knuckle. Okay, so all 3 of those 8mm bolts are snug down. And my depth is correct on here. Got her all buttoned up here. Alright, you can get your new hub nut on here. Does not need to get super tight, it's just a small shaft. That's good. Alright, I've got the 2 caliper bracket bolts started. See? Bolts that hold the caliper bracket on. And 2. Alright, I kind of just set this little cap up here and it fell in about halfway, and I'm going to lightly tap it. Alright, it's flush. Slide this bad boy in. Go around and make sure your backing plate is not bent and contacting the rotor, which it's not for me. Go ahead and get your 2 bolts started here. 10mm goes on the brake hose bracket, and the 8mm goes on this wiring retainer here. Here is my 8mm bolt. There you go. Alright, just double check everything, look it over again, make sure your vacuum lines did not pop off the IWE as you were working on it. Check everything else out. Looks good. Tight. Tight. It's on there. Caliper's tight. Alright. Put your wheel on, go test out your 4-wheel drive, and make sure your noise is gone. The purpose for this replacement was because of the IWE was leaking vacuum and causing the teeth to contact on the hub here, making a noise. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more. Please hit that button that looks like this. Alright, thank you.